So destination number 4, same thing. I want to rent this property, or I want to hold it for the long term, and they have a mortgage, okay? So my goal is to borrow long term without using my credit with as little down as possible. We will be servicing the borrower's payment, not assuming their loan. So don't start saying that I'll assume your payment, I'll assume this and that. You're not assuming anything. The way you say it is, we'll make the payment, or we'll service the payment. You know, that's the way you say it. You're not assuming anything, you're not taking any liability, right? This strategy hinges on how good their loan is, right? So we're there with them. I want to hold this property. Do you have a mortgage? Yes. Okay, this might be a good hold. Let's check out how good their loan is. What's the rent to payment ratio? Remember, let's use the hypothetical $1,000 rent. What do I want my payment to be? $600 or less, right? So if the rent to payment ratio is favorable, then that could be good for us, right? Here are the general rules. So you should know the potential gross rents for the property. So you can ask the seller, what did you rent this property for? In that last scenario, they might have said $650. You might know that you can rent this thing for $850. Because a lot of times people under rent properties. They've rented it for the same person for 15 years. They under rent it. So you need to know what they think the rent is on that too. But you also need to know what the real rent is too, right? So potential gross rents for the property. Remember, an average 40% of the gross rents go away, right? Are the net rents higher than those payments that they've got? Because the spread's your cash flow. So in this hypothetical example, $1,000 rents, $600 is my net rent. If the payment's under $600, that's my money, potentially every month, right? So that's my cash flow, that's my spread. And there's exceptions to this rule, of course, right? Is the deal worth doing if it's out of whack in any way? It might be. If you're planning on living there, it still might be a good deal for you, right? If it's $700 a month payment and the interest rate's good, and I want to live in this property, it's still pretty good, right? So that might be an exception. If you're going to live there, or if you know somebody wants to live there, you might be all right, okay? If you need some higher leverage properties in your portfolio to offset some other things, right? You've got a lot of cash flow, and you need to offset with some losses, right? Some interest costs or depreciation. You might be a situation where we want to do it, okay? I don't recommend it for those people that are newer, right? You don't want those alligators in your portfolio, but some people want that highly leveraged stuff. Number 3, if you feel like the property will appreciate significantly soon. So if you're doing, you could handle a little bit of negative short term if it's going to be popping soon. Or the last thing is, if you plan on wholesaling the opportunity to someone who fits the above criteria, right? So if you're wholesaling to somebody of those 3 above criteria, you're probably okay to still do this deal.
Do you not consider the maturity of the note to be one of those adjustable benefits?
Yeah, I'm going to look at their note. I want to see their payment, their stuff. Yeah, the principal paid and all that stuff. Because if you're right, if they've got a 30-year note and their payment's kind of high, but they're 15 years into it, the deeper you get into a payment, if you've been 15 years into a 30-year, that payment you're making, a lot of it's going to principal. So I'll take that into account for sure. Yeah, I'll take that into account for sure. So how much is the real equity? You guys remember we talked about the reverse math? Like after all the costs that are going to incur with selling a property? You guys remember this? The reverse math there. So I could potentially get you a little more for the property if we can work together. Kind of like the other scenarios, right? I might be able to get you a little more if we work this way. You're all building them up to saying why they should leave their loan in place for you, right? So allowing you to make the payment. So you're selling that benefit of, okay, why should they allow you to make the payment? That's why, because I could potentially get you a little bit more. And another benefit to that is this could improve your credit over time, right? Maybe they've had spotty repayment history. Well, you know with me, I'm going to make that payment every month, and that's going to report to your credit and be great for you. It's going to be good, right? Sell the benefit. And their net check at closing is going to be the same, right? Or it could be better. So again, the same thing as the flip with a mortgage. What's your net check at closing? That's kind of what you're negotiating. Because the bank's money, that's not their money, that's the bank's money. So negotiate it that way. So potential concerns people will come up with there. Will I still be able to qualify for another loan? I would ask them too what they're planning on doing. If they're jumping right into getting another mortgage after this, the answer could be no. If the answer to that is, if you're renting a property, you can get 75% of that rental amount as credit towards your next mortgage. And if you're not, I think you need 12 months of payments. So if you take this from somebody and you make that payment for 12 months, you can document that you made that payment, then they can start getting credit for that. But I mean, ask a lender. I don't know if Jay knows that, but that's probably what it is. So 12 months of documented payments that somebody else was making that payment that you documented, then they'll be getting credit for that. If not, this payment still affects their debt ratio. So that's a good question people will have. So it kind of depends is the answer to that. How do I know you'll make my payment? So what I'll tell people here is if I've got some money down, I'm like, well, I don't want to lose the money I put down. I'm not in this business to to lose money with stuff. And if you really want to know, there's a 1-800 number there. You see that 1-800 number? You can just call that and call that on the 5th of the month or the 10th of the month, and the automated thing will say, payment was received on April 8th. So you'll know that I made that payment. And if it comes the 10th and that hasn't been made, give me a call. Something's wrong. But I always make the payment. I'll make sure I make it before the 10th. But you can always call that and check. I tell people that. Is this legal? Yes. Unless, well, yes, it is legal. Isn't there a, because people are like, I don't know, you could do this. Because it's not common for people, but yes, it is legal. You can do that. Isn't there a due on sale clause? You guys have heard of the due on sale clause? The due on sale clause is not something that's criminal. It just means if they transfer title, that lender could say they have to pay all the money immediately. But it doesn't mean they have the obligation to do that. So pitfalls to avoid. When you're looking at their mortgage, this was talked about earlier, Les brought this up earlier, balloon payments. So I said here, balloons are for clowns at the circus. You don't want to mess with them. If you get a balloon payment, that means at some point in the future, it's going to blow up on you, right? It's this bomb that, it could be popping and you're like, then you've got to do something with this. So you want something that's going to be for the long term. You can make those payments forever and not have to worry about, 5 years from now you owe us $80,000, right? So you don't want that balloon. That's what's called the balloon payment, right? The payment can be low, then at some point you got to pay the whole thing. Adjustable rate mortgages. When you're looking at their mortgage statement, make sure you know what type of mortgage they're getting into there. Is this something that's a fixed payment that's going to be the same for the duration of the loan, or is it going to adjust up? ARMs. Now recently, ARMs have been adjusting down. It's not been a big deal, but if interest rates spike up and you assumed somebody, or you didn't assume, but you're doing subject to financing like we're talking about here on somebody's mortgage at an adjustable rate, you could find yourself with a higher monthly payment. So make sure you know what that is when you're looking at the mortgage coupon, okay? And when we do a role play with that, you might want to ask these type of questions. Can I see your mortgage statement? Talk to them about this stuff, right? Balloon payments come up. Know what type of loan it is. So what type of loan it is important because recently, over the last, I think it was the last year or so, government insured loans, FHA loans, and VA loans, you can't, if you take title to those, you can't get title insurance on that. They're not letting title companies do that. Title underwriters aren't allowing that because the government's kind of cracking down on that. So it's kind of take it at your own risk a little bit there because title companies don't want to be part of that transaction. You could still do it. You could still transfer title, but you're not going to have a title policy. You could also take it on a contract for deed. So you can do it, but just be careful with FHA and VA loans. That's all I want to get into here, right? Be careful with FHA and VA loans. If it's a conventional loan, you're good. Are they current on their payments? So you want to know that too, because you could be asking the guy all along, how much is your payment? $450 a month. Great, and you're going along to do this deal. You don't recognize they're 8 months behind, and they got this big stack of payments you got to make to catch up, right? So are they current on their payments? So here's an example of Mr. Rod.
I couldn't take care of it. I was in the hospital and out with heart problems, and I couldn't do any labor. I wasn't allowed to lift over 20 pounds, and couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. So there's no way I was going to go over there and rake a lawn or mow a lawn or bend down and go under a sink to fix a clogged up sink. There's no way I could do that. I put on the market for sale. Nobody was looking to buy property. Nobody was looking to buy property. And your investors were out by the carloads. If you would discount your property 30 or 40%, I wanted 140, but nobody was offering it. I think you came up with 125. My general experience has been that I felt you was up front and a good character, and you followed through with your obligation. I just go out on the first and get my paycheck, and go to the bank and put in there, and that's the way we set it up, and that's the way it's been. When you get older and like I am now, you can either sell it and get your cash out, but if you do that, if you don't do something with your cash, Uncle Sam's going to ding you for it. As it is now, I don't pay taxes on this, because I can keep my income shown just at the level I don't have to tax. A working man that goes out and works for Walmart all his life gets a Social Security check and he can retire. But he can't go to the show, he can't go on picnics, he sits home and just makes his payments on his utilities. So if you're going to work for a living, you got to make your own retirement. It's $800 a month that I can do what I want with. and I live on my Social Security. I have plenty there. So this money is sitting out in my driveway now.
So I hope if you take nothing more from this, if you just take these videos, the very beginning of the video where you guys saw these sellers that were happy, and the ones that I'm showing you here, you gotta believe that the solution you're providing them is better for him. Because it was better for him, right? He's happy, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about Rod's situation.
What was the book that he? That is.
So he had a ledger of every payment I've made him. He wrote down when he got it. $812.50 a month. He'd write it down. So that's how long I've been paying him for. There's all those ledgers, right? So he wanted a good price because those investors were out by the truckload trying to get a discount. So I was a good fellow. Why was I a good fellow? Because I didn't beat him up with the cash hammer. I said, no, I believe your property's worth more than this, right? He wanted a good price, which was $200,000. Now he was saying 125, 140. He was talking about his equity. So he didn't kind of misspoke there. He was talking about his money because he had a loan, right? He wanted income without management. I don't want to be out there raking the leaves and doing all that stuff, okay? He had lots of equity. He had a good first position loan for $75,000 at 5.25, right? So I didn't really want to mess with that. He wanted me to put some money down, so $10,000 seemed good enough to him, right? 5% of $200,000. And I took his first mortgage, so I serviced that payment every month, and I divided his equity, which was $115,000, into over 12 equal payments, 12 years. So he gets $812.50 a month for 120 payments of that, right? No interest. He gets no interest on his equity. But I gave him his price. That was important, right? Because those investors were out by the truckload trying to buy it for a discount. Unconscionable. I wouldn't do that. But he just wanted his payment, right? So I gave him his payment, but I put that in. I adjusted the term and I adjusted the interest rate, right? He got what he wanted. I got what I wanted. So how did I come up with those numbers? The rents were $650. It's a fourplex, okay? The rents were $650, so the gross rents were $2,600, right? But I know 40% off of that is that $1,560. I'm paying him $812.50, and I put that payment in. I negotiated that one first because I knew that's where I needed to be, right? Combined with his first mortgage payment. His first mortgage payment was $629, and that wasn't changing. So I knew I had a little bit of money left there. That's what I have left for my cash flow. $119. So poor me, I'm managing a fourplex to make $119 a month. But his first mortgage pays down principal, and for the next 12 years, or in 12 years of $812 a month, principal only, that's paying it down pretty much, right? I'm making $1,000 a month principal down on that. But he won. He was happy with that, the price and everything we gave, okay? Right now the story is the rents are $750 and everything else is still the same. So I do have a little bit of cash flow there. I had to wait, but rents have come up in the last 4 years, so it's been good. So that was his scenario, right? So I want you guys to see that it can be better for them. But in this scenario, destination number 4, you need to ask them the key questions about their mortgage. Is that mortgage going to work? Find out about their mortgage. Is there a balloon? Is it an ARM? Is it an FHA? Is it a VA? What's their principal balance on that? How long have they been paying on that? What's their payment, which is extremely important. Those are the type of questions you want to ask in this to know if it's going to work. Because if you want to take it long term, you need to make sure that payment works. And if it's not, you better have somebody that's going to live there. Better have somebody that wants it for, depreciate it for losses or whatever. Other than that, you're going to be an alligator, and you don't want to be eating too many alligators, right? Well, you don't want to get eaten by too many alligators. Because you buy too many negative cash flow properties, you'll get eaten up. And a negative cash flow property is, if the gross rents are $1,000 and your payment's $900, it's eating you. It's eating you every month. Okay, so you guys ready to try this scenario? Here's what I want to do. Let's do one of these. So when you guys break out in your groups, do one of these scenarios. Then after that, there's an envelope in there that's called number 5, the 5th one. And the 5th one has 10 scenarios. And so after you do this first role play, do those 10 scenarios and see if you guys can recognize them. And by recognize them, I mean all there is a seller scenario there. So somebody is the investor. If you want to try 5 of them, if Les wants to try 5 of those, I'm going to be the seller. And I read my bio, and it's real short. And Les just has to ask me some pointed questions. And those pointed questions are going to be he's got his bus driver cap on, seller's in the back of the bus. Ask the pointed questions to figure out where he's driving that bus. See if you can get there in like 2 minutes in your head. And as soon as you get there, stop the role play and say, this sounds like situation number 1. I want to flip this property because of the price, and he doesn't owe anything, so I'm going to do this. Awesome, you identified it. The next one, right? So if you can get the buzz to us fast, that's going to ensure the next time you're in front of a seller, he's going to say the stuff, and you're going to be like, that's where I'm taking him. And then you're going to work all your sales knowing that you're going to take him to that destination. But number one is recognizing the thing. You guys will get good at this over time and all that stuff, but if you recognize the destination, you can drive them there. But if you didn't know before today that that was the destination you want to get them to, you know, even a blind squirrel can find a nut, but if you don't know what a nut looks like, then you're not going to find it. So, everybody good?
Daryl, so based off of what we've talked about, tell me what are you going to do with the money from the sale of this house?
You know, that's a great question, but I want to put it somewhere that I don't have to worry about it, really, and I don't want my wife to have to worry about it. Heaven forbid something happened to myself, you know. But I mostly just don't want to have to worry about it. So put it somewhere safe.
So put it somewhere safe where you don't have to worry about it is really, that's your top priority. So
Yeah.
Great. So if I can help you take care of that so that you've got it somewhere safe, would that be beneficial for you?
Yeah, but I've had a few people tell me they can put my money somewhere safe, you know. So, so I don't know about this Les guy. No, I mean, if you can guarantee me that something is safe, and you know, I'd like to put it in a CD, you know, a 5-year CD that my wife could just, you know, be able to take that out. It's easy and it's hassle-free, you know.
Right. CDs are safe. That is a safe place to put your money. What other investments would you consider to be a safe investment to put your money in?
Something that's, you know, guaranteed, something that's not going to fluctuate. I don't like those stocks, none of that business.
I don't blame you. That's risky business.
I'm too old for that headache. You know, a guy like me, Daryl's, it's just, don't have time for that.
Okay.
So.
Great, Daryl. Would you consider real estate? Is that something that's safe and maybe a good collateral position to be in for an investment?
I don't think so. It depends, I guess. I don't know anything about real estate, so it makes me nervous. I just heard about people losing money.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know. I guess it would depend.
Okay. And what about this house here on Rod Robbins Court? Is this been a good place for you to have your money invested over the years?
Yeah, I mean it's been good for us. Yeah. I mean, I think it's been good. I don't want my wife to have to worry about it though. You know, when we're gone. That's kind of why I want to get rid of it. That's why I kind of had you come, you know, check it out. Is I just don't want to have to worry about it, and I especially don't want her to have to worry about it.
Okay. Tell me what's going on with your wife. You seem like that's a concern. Is what's happening in her situation right now?
You know, it's not so much. She's good and everything, but I'm actually going into heart surgery next week.
Wow, heart surgery.
Yeah, so that's kind of a scary thing.
That's a big deal.
Especially for my wife. Yeah, it's a little scary, a little intense at this age.
Okay. So you guys are planning carefully between you and your wife to make sure she's in a good place. I mean, heart surgery, I'm sure everything's going to go well, but just in case, she's got to have that security blanket to know that she's going to have a steady income every single month. Is that fair kind of an assessment of how you'd like to leave her whenever your time comes, sooner or later?
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
That's exactly right. You hit it on the head.
Great. So if we can find a scenario where she can feel safe and you can feel comfortable with that, would it be of interest to you to consider maybe seller financing this house?
I'm not really familiar with that. Is that kind of like a refinance? Like 8 years ago, I refinanced it, but I'm not super familiar with the seller finance.
Okay, and I can explain more about that. Tell me a little bit about that refinance. You refinanced it 8 years ago. Do you know how much do you owe on your house when you refinanced it 8 years ago, and then how much do you owe now?
Well, originally I bought the property for $50,000. That's been 25 years now.
$50,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was sweet. That was the good old days. I bought that guy for $50,000 25 years ago. 8 years ago, I refinanced it for $100,000.
Okay.
And I was able to get my purchase price back and an extra $50,000. So.
So your purchase price back and an extra $50,000. And what'd you do with that $50,000?
We took the grandkids to the movies. So.
Good for you.
It's the grandkid fun. We bought them all motorcycles, so.
Awesome. And what do you owe currently on the property? What's your loan balance?
It's currently $86,000.
$86,000?
It's somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, I actually happen to have the statement here.
Oh, great. Can I take a look at that?
Yeah, so $86,000 is how much I owe.
Okay.
And, I'm paying $702 a month, which is my pity monthly payment.
Your pity monthly payment?
Yeah.
Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Awesome.
That's correct. And it's just at 5.25% there.
5.25%.
Yeah.
That's a great rate to have on a house here.
Yeah.
So based off of that, based off what your monthly payment being $702, what price do you want to, if you wanted to sell this property at?
Oh, I don't know these days what they're going for over there. I haven't been over there in a while, and so I wouldn't know. I was hoping you'd be able to tell me a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly.
I mean, that's why you had me out here today, right? To
Yeah.
kind of give you an idea
Kind of get a feel for what they're going for and, what we could get for it.
what the value is. And if you were going to list it with a realtor and put it up on the market, what do you think? What do you think a realtor or someone would tell you to get this home sold?
Well, I would hope to get back what I've put into it. So, I don't know exactly what a good price would be. Yeah, I don't know.
Not quite sure.
No, I'm not really quite sure.
Okay, what you want to do it? And do you have any idea maybe on your assessed tax value that they mail you every month? Do you ever get an idea of what that number is or what that value might be?
Yeah, it's about $200,000.
About $200,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So market value you could say is maybe about $200,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, heck, I don't know. I heard those tax guys are full of it, so I don't know exactly if they're right or not,
All they want to do is take the money,
I
right?
just see that guy walking around with a clipboard and I don't trust him.
I don't blame you for not wanting to trust him. I don't trust him either. Okay. So that $200,000 then is what we've got here. Based off of the current situation, what's the current situation of your property? What's the physical condition inside and out of your duplex?
It's been vacant now. I want to get a fair price out of it. It's going to need a little bit of work, I'd guess, probably about $4,000, which would be like paint and carpet, I think, before it'd be ready to go rent. But I don't want to deal with that. I used to be a painter, and I'm too old for that business, especially with my heart going out.
I can understand that completely. You've got a big heart surgery. You can't be out there painting houses, replacing carpet.
Sniffing lacquer, yeah, can't do that.
No sniffing lacquer these days, right? Those are days gone past.
Those days are long gone.
All right. Well, then, if we've got to do some improvements here on your duplex, you're estimating about $4,000 to repaint both sides of the duplex and to recarpet some of the interior. Maybe any other improvements that may increase or decrease the value of your property?
No, I don't think so. That's pretty much it. I think it would just be. I mean, it's structurally it's pretty sound. So you might want to do some updating, but it is just a rental. So I think you'd probably be fine to just do paint and carpet.
Okay, just doing paint and carpet.
Yeah, which I guess is probably about $4,000. Heck, okay. I haven't painted a house in a few years though, so that could be a little different than what I guess. But
yeah. So what were cars selling for when back when you were painting?
Oh, back in the day, you could buy a Ford for $2,000.
$2,000.
Brand new Ford, yeah.
Holy smokes! And today, what's a brand new Ford cost today?
So I wouldn't be able to tell you. Still driving the same one.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So you got a classic Ford.
I do.
Great. Well, as you mentioned, improvements cost to improve a house have risen quite a bit. We might be able to get some good work done for $4,000. It'll probably cost us more than that to bring a house up to bar. But leave that headache to us. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, good. That's good.
Moving forward, how much money would you need immediately to be able to take care of what you need to do for your wife and for your family?
We've got our retirement kind of in line, so we don't necessarily need money right now. But I would like to just have this money because it scares me to run out. I want my wife to be, especially if she has any health conditions. Am I missing anything on there? And I want her to be prepared for whatever. If anything came unexpected came down the road, I want her to have money. So I think this would be a good lump sum to have in our bank account to just have that peace of mind if we ever needed it.
Okay. So having a certain amount of money sitting in the bank so that you feel comfortable is important right now in this point of the situation. How much money? What would be an appropriate amount to where you guys would feel that you've got a good lump sum in the bank and maybe find a scenario where we could make payments every month so that every month you have a steady income coming in and you don't have to deal with the duplex headaches that you've had. I mean, you've had past renters, right?
Yeah, that's gnarly.
It's pretty gnarly.
Gnarly, yeah.
Were there a few months maybe the payments didn't come through?
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting vacant now for that same reason, just people, we're too old to do that business anymore. But I think, a good lump sum, oh man, I'd like my wife to have $20,000 in the bank.
$20,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty good little blanket.
Great. So if we can set up a scenario where your wife can have $20,000 in the bank, just in case something changes or something happens, and then we could set up a situation where we could make you monthly payments based off of $200,000 would be a price you'd be willing to sell at.
Yeah, but I'm going to die here soon, and so I mean, I wouldn't ideally be very long. I mean, we'd probably be okay with that, but how long are you thinking? How long would those payments go for? Or?
That's a great question. We can sit down and we can structure it so that the payments can be more heavily loaded up front, and then they can tailor off. But generally what we do is we generally set up what would be just a typical mortgage type scenario where we'd agree to a price and terms, a price of $200,000. We'd give you $20,000 to give you the nest egg that you're looking for, and then we would schedule to make payments every single month for the next, let's say, 10 years. Would 10 years be a scenario that'd work for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Would 20 or 30 be, would that still be doable, or?
I'm old. I'm 60.
You're old and...
yeah, I'm getting old now.
Okay.
So I don't know. 10 years would probably be about where we'd want to be.
10 years would probably be ideal
that's-
scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, let's do this then. Let's set up a situation where we purchase your house or your duplex here for $200,000. We'll give you $20,000 up front immediately. So then you can know going into the surgery next week, you've got that blanket to take care of your wife. She's got a critical amount there in the bank account, and then we'll set up to make payment arrangements every month for the next 10 years. Would that work out?
That's something you can do. Let's do it.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and do it. Go ahead and sign here.
Sorry. Yeah. Les, how did it go?
Oh, I was scrambling in some parts, but
Brutal on the hot seat.
I was.
it is.
I was even scrambling to remember what the crap this thing said. So props to you. You did good.
Thank you.
I wasn't trying to be hard. I was trying to remember what I had. Like the 200,000 when you were asking for a value, I just couldn't remember, so I didn't give you a number, but I found it. So, props to you for digging. That was fantastic. The way you
He was
kept digging for the
digging well.
price. Yeah, I thought that was.
The price digging was awesome.
Yeah.
You shut him down twice and he went third time and got
Yeah,
it.
props to you for that
That was
one.
awesome.
I also
So I think
noticed.
one concern that the seller's gonna have
Yeah.
more than the investor is how are my payments gonna be made to the bank?
Okay.
And so, I think that's one to be aware of, because somebody comes in, you put yourself in their shoes, okay, how are you gonna make the payments to the bank? How am I gonna make sure that my credit is gonna be taken care of?
Am I gonna get a check or am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I think
That's a valid point. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's a question that will always arise.
Right.
Okay, how are these gonna be taken care of?
How am I going to know that that's made
How
every
am I
month?
gonna know?
Yeah.
Plus, originally I didn't expound on it really, but my original concern was like how could I have it guaranteed? So I could have,
Oh, okay.
I guess.
I think
Yeah.
that's where you go into.
So maybe explain the
escrow
promissory
specialist,
note and the
go-
trust
Yeah,
deed that
that's
you
what I
own the
didn't-
collateral.
uh-huh.
It's you're in first lien position on the
Yeah,
property.
that would have been probably something to.
'Cause I think that's
hit on.
everybody's, probably the biggest concern is, okay, how am I secured?
Right.
It
How
sounds
is this-
great,
yeah,
but how
you're
does
gonna
it?
give me 20 grand, but I really have
Is this too good to be
a
true?
mortgage out on this,
Yeah.
exactly, with all the scams and stuff that's out there right now. Is it too good to be true? Or are you gonna give me a fake cashier's check? Are you gonna, this, that?
Yeah, you know what though? With that said, if having built rapport before this and the way that you treated me, I felt like I trusted you. I felt like you were a straight up dude. Like, and that's what. What's the last video's name?
Rod.
Rod. That's what he said about you. He's like, I felt like he was straightforward. That's what he said at the
They all
beginning.
say that. They're all
So, and I felt like that's
Yeah.
how you were too. You're just like, oh, really? Like, yeah, I thought you were pretty straightforward about it.
Those are good questions to
I thought
ask.
it was good that you were asking about my wife because it went past the money. It went past everything else. You know what I mean? Oh, you're worried about your wife? What's going on with her? Is she okay?
And one thing I
You mentioned her
noticed on your
twice, so I
part
was like, I better dig some more, because you kept on talking about it, so I'm like,
was
what's
dig-
going on with the wife?
digging into that mortgage a little bit more, I thought. Find out what, if it is a fixed
That's
balloon
right. That's like my
arm.
worst nightmare, because a friend
That's-
of mine got sued.
Yeah,
Oh, if it's gonna be an
talking about
arm
that,
or if it's gonna be a.
Yeah.
yeah. So, find out what that is.
Find out
I
what the
don't know
current
if that is-
situation
You
is.
mentioned that like 2 hours ago.
I know, way off
But
topic.
this is the one.
This is
It's
the
it.
deal.
That's the deal.
It's hard because there's so many things going on in your head though. Like you're probably trying to run numbers, meanwhile, be my friend. That was the hardest thing
Yeah.
for me, as the.
Well, like
as
I
the
said, I think
investor.
you're going to be a little bit more prepared when you go out rather than just have a sheet thrown in front of your face. You're going to probably go out, yeah, you got a red hot deal, but you're going to do a little bit of due diligence. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the value on this property? So you know, as an investor, you're going to know, okay,
Where that sheet's at anymore? We
Square
got it.
footage, size,
He knows
rent.
the ARV. He
Okay,
knows
I
so
know
the-
ARV is 220,
so you know.
and I
that
know
stuff.
200 is as low as he would go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, seller carry is the only way to.
You
One of the
maybe
things-
could have beat me up a little bit for price. Not beat me up, but you
Should
could have
I
been
have?
like, I don't know. I said about 200,000, and you were pretty easy to just jump on board. You could have maybe got me for like 180 or something. I don't know.
I should have done that.
How much are your rents?
750.
So, in a couple of things here.
Oh,
This
so
is-
he didn't know.
Oh,
that.
that's
Rents.
another
so-
thing.
And he's got a $100,000 mortgage, and he wants $200,000. How much are you getting from the sale of this?
So
You get
100.
100
I have
grand. You're not
100.
getting 200 grand. You're getting 100 grand. And how much are your
Yeah.
payments? You get 750. And he said it was vacant. Are both sides vacant or just one?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. So he's getting 750. His gross rents are 1,500. You're starting off of that and beating him. Not beating him
Vacant.
up, but you're negotiating off of that. But because I wrote these things. I wrote these ones different. You know that you're going to rent that for $895.
Right.
Very frequently you go there. These people have these houses. They under rent them.
All
So
the
you
time.
can go there and you know that you can work your payment.
Sure.
You can say, what were you getting for $1,500 a month? But then back all that up, and that payment says no. So you can get what you're actually only getting after your payment and everything. You're only getting, it sounds like $200-300 a month. So if I can get a scenario where I can get you that 20 grand you need, get you secured, and get you that same $300 a month without the management and hassles, because your wife doesn't want that. Sounds like your heart surgery. You're worried about yourself, right?
Yeah.
You get that for your wife. If we can do that, I like to restate all this stuff. Get you the 20 nest eggs. I understand that. All these things I understand. If I can do all of that, does that make sense to you? I mean, basically, you're going to have your cake and eat it too. You're going to have your cash. You're going to have a payment just like you still have the thing. You don't have any management. Your wife's going to. Does that make sense to you?
That's a fantastic way of dumbing it down. It's like you're just basing it out. And I
That
think that
really
goes
is.
back
It's
to what
reviewing, yeah. Repeating-
Riley said with the needs. I think that was so good because you could have said as of now, okay, so there's one not. I think it helps you back up and calm down. Okay, so as of now, there's one unit that's open, one unit that says rent.
'Cause if I-
It's renting for $750.
If I picked it up
point.
from here, what's your payment on that 100,000 one you got?
702,
702. And how much is your one side rented for?
750.
750. And do you have any other costs with that? You have to do any maintenance or?
Yeah, I've got to pay 10% of that for property management because I'm
Oh,
too
are
old
you
to go out there.
kidding me?
Yeah.
So right now he's not making anything,
There's
right? I hear a
negative cash
pain point.
flowing.
So you're like paying money.
At this point, yeah. At this
How
point,
much
yeah.
do you think you're paying every month?
Oh shoot, I don't know. Apart from the property management, every once in a while we've had to go over there and fix a few things, So
See what I'm saying? Digging this pain.
That's
Crap, you're
good.
doing that. Well, what if we could get you to a situation where you got a little bit of money in your pocket, so your wife's taken care of there. She gets that monthly money with that management, because I understand where you're coming from. That's a huge concern. And, I mean, that's going to better your situation. If we could do all of those things for you, is that what you need?
absolutely.
Work them into a payment. What's that payment you need every month? $300 or whatever that is. And then I plug that payment in with the $700 I know, so I know my total payment's going to be $1,000, and I can work it all that way. So his term is like, I work this payment first, and turn I back into it later. The interest rate,
Sure.
I'm not dealing with that because I know it means 20 down. I got 80 in equity I'm dealing with. So the PV is 80. The payments, whatever I can negotiate into, 300. Perfect. How am I dealing with that? Ideally, I'd like 0% interest. So I look at that and go 80 PV, 300 a month. Divide that out of 0% interest. What's that straight in as? Might be, I don't know what that is. I mean, 15 years. I mean, okay, if I make you that payment, if I'll just make you just 150 equal payments of $300 a month, I mean, to you or your wife, I hope you're here. I mean, I sincerely do. I hope this taking the stress off of you makes it easier for you to live and everything. But if you're gone, I think that, man, that'll be taken care of. Aren't you glad you bought that duplex that's going to take care of her?
It's gonna be, yeah.
Yeah, and she'll have the 20 grand and all that stuff. And if we do that, God, that'd be great for you, right? Is that what you need?
Yeah.
Let's get you what you need. With all the paperwork side, escrow specialists, how we deal with all that stuff, you'll just confuse them. And if you say a word like seller financing,
Yeah.
confused mind says no, and they'll just be like, no. Have you ever considered seller financing? No, I wouldn't do seller financing. What they're really saying is, I have no clue what seller financing is,
Yeah.
I don't want to look like an idiot. So
Yeah.
no, I won't do that. They couldn't even tell you what you just said, seller financing. They just be like, no, I can't do that.
Because did you ask? I think you asked that, right?
I
No,
did.
I was just like,
Every time I
don't
say
know if
seller
that's-
financing, I
It's-
try to like
it
put
comes
it back
off
in my
like-
mouth. I'm like,
you know.
oh, you know, yeah.
Because we're investor speak, you know. We come from work.
Yeah, jargon stuff.
Total jargon. But if you just give them what they want, you find out exactly what they want. Say, if I can give you all that, give them what you
Yeah.
want. But they're not ever going to ask you if it's an interest rate on that. They're not going to ask. Most of the time.
Right.
So how
Rod
do you
didn't
get
ask.
that, how do you get that to them, that they're gonna be the bank?
They're going to be the bank.
You don't even need to get that to him, really, do you?
You just tell, hey,
I-
all right, I'm gonna give you your, whatever you want.
Yeah, what's the benefit that you're going to get, Rod? So you're going to get, now how much were you making here? So you were renting it for $650 and all this thing. You were getting that much, but you had all the payments and you're paying all that. Let's get down to what you were getting. So you were actually getting that. Okay.
I'm giving you that same thing, less the stress. So like you don't have to deal with it. It's not a liability anymore. It's just you're getting that same payment done.
And
Like
you can
that's
get that.
I think
So
that's
you
a
can
huge.
still get that thing, and you can get that for the next 15 years without doing a thing.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good scenario for both of them. It's that way.
I'm
right?
just wondering how you all of a sudden put that into play, that, okay, you're gonna be the bank now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even tell them that. Unless
No?
they're like, I don't grasp this
They don't need
concept.
to know it. Yeah.
But if they ask, and I won't even bring them until they ask a question like, well, what if you don't pay me? I mean, I got $80,000. You paid me 20, but that 80, you didn't pay me that 80. No, long hair. You didn't pay me that 80. No, I totally
Blue hair,
understand
blue
that.
hair, elder. Yeah.
Blue hair. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So here's what we'll do. Well, you know you pay the bank every month. What happens if you don't pay the bank?
Or you ask me, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
They'll
happens
come
if-
back and they'll take the house.
That's true. So what if we structure it like that? So if I don't pay you, heaven forbid, I'm gonna, because I'm giving you 20 grand.
Sure.
And if I don't pay you, then you'll get that back. We'll do that. How about we do that? We'll tie it to the house, the duplex, and make sure that we'll do it. And I guarantee you, and I've got some people that I've done this before in the past, and that you can call them and say, I make that payment every month on time. I do that. But if I didn't pay you, you get the house back.
And what happens if I die?
If you die, that's a great
And
question.
my wife dies, and so
Do you have any kids?
yeah, we got some kids.
Do they like money?
Yeah. Yeah. they
Well,
do.
if you die, then I'm still making a payment. It's not like if you die, I get the money now. It's not one of those. If you die, that money that I'm paying you, I need to know where to make the check.
Sure.
So if I can't make it to you because you're dead, what's your son's name? You know, I'll just write him a check. Or if you got two sons, I'll write it to whoever it needs to go,
Sure.
and they can have that money. They'd like
Fantastic.
that probably too. In fact, how are your kids? Pretty responsible? Dig a little bit. If they're not responsible, well, that's Johnny. Johnny's had some trouble with gambling before. Well, I mean, at least this way. Sometimes I think there's nothing worse you can do to a kid, 20-year-old, than dumping $20,000 on him. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about. You worked hard for your money. You recognize the value of a dollar, right? Depending on who this guy is. If he's an old guy like that,
Right.
man, sometimes you wonder if some of these young kids, if you dump $20,000 on what they would do. So, man, this would even be a better scenario for them. I mean, I think you guys will be fine. I think the reduced stress of this will help you live longer, but you don't want to dump that money on your kids unduly. But if they wanted to, I mean, they could get cash for it, but you know the value. It's better to get it over time and make sure it drips out to you. You know the value of that stuff. I mean, I would talk to them that
Sure.
way. Unless they're going down the road and say, no, my kids are all good kids, they're upstanding individuals. Okay, great, I'm cutting that off and going somewhere else, you know. But if I go down the road, they're like, oh yeah, I never thought about Johnny. He's had heroin problems. I'm like, boy, we got to take care of this. Let's make sure we structure it this way for sure. Okay?
You are the master of this.
He's good.
You are the
He's good, Daddy.
you are the fountain of seller financing. You just feeding out just radiating of seller
Yeah, the
financing.
thing is, you just need to know where you want someone to go with anything. Right? If you know these destinations you want them to go, the word tracks to get them there. You're going to say it how you say it because you got motorcycle analogies. But you're going to listen to him, and if he digs motorcycles, you talk that language. If you just morph into what they are, right?
Sure.
Right.
And you just
Sure.
live in their world. And
Put it in their terms. Yeah.
yeah, and if they're people that just value the dollar and the hard work, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to get in here and roll up my sleeves and take care of this stuff. I mean, 20 years ago when you bought it, you were in here every day doing it.
Yeah.
Well, it's my turn. You put yours in, I got to put mine in. I'm about here to go do this. If that's what you think they're going to like, you might not be doing the work, but I'll
Do
roll
you know
my
what?
sleeves and get ready.
Do you know what I think that you said that was awesome? Was you're like, man, wasn't it lucky that you bought this because now you're going to be because
like that
basically
too.
you structured it so it's like, man, you made a fantastic decision. What it's your headache now? We're making this together you made a fantastic decision. Like, look at this, what you're getting. I thought that was cool.
Made him feel important. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
did make the right decision.
And
You're
some
right.
of these times, the
Built 'em
older
up.
people that have had these things, back in the day, in fact, Rod bought that fourplex on seller financing. So he understood the value back when he was working, and he put his in, and he did the work, and he bought it from a guy, and he paid it down. 20 years I put in there. I was a working man. Now it's my turn, and I'm like, I use that. I knew it was important to him, his perception. So I was like, I'm a young buck. I'm just trying to get started in this game. So I mean, I love an opportunity to go in there. I'm not trying to get anything for free. You've done yours. I'm going to give you yours.
Yeah.
I got to get in here and do this. We got to fix it up, do a little work. I'm not scared of management. I'll do that. But I'm going to earn my stripes. I wanted the opportunity you had 20 years ago. I'm ready to do that. You know, he's going to make him feel like I'm giving you an opportunity. You know what? This feels good. Doesn't matter if you're a multi-millionaire. It's just to him, it's like, you know what? I'm going to give that Zach a chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a chance to roll up his sleeves. There, right?
That's good.
But it's
That's
on
good.
it's what they want, because if they
Yeah.
feel good about that at the end, Mary, that black lady, her husband I worked on a dock, and he was a truck driver, and he had quite a few properties, owned them all free and clear, and he had his old mentality of how that worked, right? But he's still kind of a poor mentality, but he didn't understand money a lot, but he still had these properties, right? And I talked to him on the docks and stuff. We got to be pretty good friends, and he wanted to give me a chance, right? And I said, you know what? I'll buy that property from you. And I pitched it to him as a seller finance thing, right? And he was like, he liked me. He's like, kind of like, I want to give you a chance. Now, I didn't tell him I've been reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad and gone to real estate. I didn't do any of that stuff. I was just like, you know, I want a chance to do what you did. I mean, you bought those houses and did that. Yeah. You put in your time, and yeah, I'm ready to do that too. You want to give me a chance, and he did. So
that probably for 90,000 you bought, like the
80.
80.
Yeah,
I think
he was
I remember-
listing it for 80 and nothing.
And nobody got it. And then you told him you paid the full
Nobody.
price.
And I said, I'll give you 80. I said, I got $5,000. I'm on the dock out here. You see me every night. Like, I have $5,000. All right, we'll make it work. And we
Sweet.
did.
Wow.
We bought it, and
That's great.
Is he not around anymore?
yeah, he died.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away. But I still make his check to his wife. So there's another good scenario. So, well, if I'm not around anymore, well, the money's
Your
still going
wife's just
somewhere.
getting-
I'm not
yeah.
getting
You
the
want the money
money.
to go.
Right.
Somebody likes money, right? They're gonna be happy about that. Let's keep you alive.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your money. You worked for it. But I mean, make sure your kids get it. Go to a nice place. Or you can give it to me if you like me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. But seriously. But now we don't have to. But if you really want to give it away. Oh, you do, huh?
And he could he'll give it to him.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Can I just give it to you now?
You're such a nice young man. Can I just write a check to you? Yeah, it's Andrew. That's the official name. I can play seller to you guys if you guys want to. Should we go around the
Yeah.
room?
No, do it, dude.
do
You
it.
do the seller.
Okay.
Oh, so you got them there too. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same ones. I just had some here, but let's see.
So what's the deal? We're
Here's the
asking
deal.
It's like
questions
a
or?
quiz, so you're supposed to identify,
You're
right?
just trying to think which direction you're going, 1 through 4, or if it's a hybrid deal, 5, meaning you're going to try to take this part subject to and negotiate their equity somewhere else. So what terms option need to work? So don't spend time negotiating a deal. Just stop the role play once you know which direction you're planning on taking the seller, and then we can discuss it with the group if you want to. Who's up? Who wants? Hang on, so let me read this first.
Whose turn? Who's
I think it's your turn
You want me to do it?
for investor.
So no questions at all. You're just gonna read me a slip and.
Well, you're gonna ask me questions to get this stuff out of me because you're going to this thing blind.
You're
Oh,
trying to
It's
dig
totally
out
blind.
which situation
the
you
point of
need.
this exercise is to get people thinking immediately which direction they could take someone with terms. So what terms option would work, 1 through 5. Don't spend time negotiating each deal. Just stop the role play once you know which direction you're planning on taking the seller and discuss it with the group. She's trying to find out
80K.
which way.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. My name's Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe. Jump in my bus. Let's go for a ride.
Well, I gotta get to know you first.
Hey, Joe. So you got this house for sale, huh?
Yep. House is for sale.
Yeah. You lived in here for quite a while.
You know, actually, yes, I have.
You lived here
Yep, I lived here for the last couple of years.
a couple years, huh? So did you buy this place with cash or do you have a mortgage on it?
I actually owe a little bit of money on it.
You owe a little bit of money on
Yep.
it.
I borrowed some money on it a year ago.
A year ago. Was that a refinance or
Yep.
you did a refinance on it?
Yep.
Oh, really?
50 grand. That's what I borrowed.
$50,000.
Money's cheap right now too.
Money's cheap.
Got 4% interest.
Oh, great, Joe. That's
$50,000.
awesome. You're going to sell that house to me, aren't you?
I'll sell the house for the right price.
Oh, for the right price.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
What kind of price are you thinking you need out of it?
You know what this house is worth.
No, I don't. What do you think it's worth?
It's worth at least 135. You know that.
135.
You guys
huh?
do this
think
business. You know.
135, huh?
Yeah, it's worth 135.
Is that what your tax records show, or how are you coming up with that?
No, this is what they go for in the neighborhood. Tax records and everything. My neighbor sold for that. It's a 135 house.
It is. How does it compare to your neighbors? Is it pretty fixed up, or what's?
It needs a little work.
Yeah, it needs some work. So your neighbor sold for 135, but your needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, a little work, yeah.
A little bit of work. How much work? What do you think?
15 probably.
15. And what do you think can be done for 15?
Oh, carpet, paint, just kind of some updates and things.
Carpet paint. All right. So you got a mortgage on it of 50,000.
Yeah.
And what is it that you're looking to do? Do you need all your money, the 135 right now, or can you
Well,
take it over time?
I mean, I don't need the money. I don't need all the money right now, but you give me 135 for it?
Well, I might. Let's talk here for a minute.
Okay.
This is kind of intriguing. You 135. If you took 50 now and took some over the next while, how long would you need on that to make it right for you?
So if I took 50 now, so you're saying take some 50. If I take 50 now, then I get some of the rest over time. So I
Rest
like the
over time?
135 number, and I got 50. You give me 50 now, and my loan's 50. So there's $35,000 left then, right?
$35,000 left.
Is that what you're thinking?
Well, you lost me.
Yeah, I know this is a tough one. Huh?
Yeah.
You don't have any blueprint to go off on. You're getting the scenario out here though.
Yeah. So you got 50 out on it right now.
So I owe 50 on it.
You owe 50.
It's worth 135.
135. How much do you need?
Well,
Do you need money now?
I don't need money right now.
You don't need money. So if we satisfied that $50,000 mortgage and you could take your money over time, would you do it?
Yeah, I'd probably do it. I mean, I don't
Do
need
it.
the money.
All
You
right.
give me 135.
I think I could do the 135 on it,
I like you.
and we can make this deal happen.
All right.
So I think a hold with mortgage.
So it can be a hold with mortgage for sure.
Yeah?
Some
Or
of the
even
things
a
you
flip
didn't ask.
with mortgage,
Flip
huh?
with
You didn't
mortgage,
ask what
'cause-
my payment was.
And that's what your payment was.
So my payment on the 50 is $238. So when you're thinking of hold with mortgage, you're carrying about.
All
Number
right,
one thing
right.
is, what do you want to make sure this works with?
Yeah.
Right.
Rent.
Rent.
Will the house support it? You need to start thinking of the house
Yeah.
support. So you don't have any notes here, but what were you gonna ask me? What the house rent for in the neighborhood like this? Right?
Yeah,
I
what
told
the
you
house
$1,200
rent for
bucks.
in the neighborhood?
$1,200. This will rent for $1,200.
Rent for 1,200.
Yeah, so your quick math, you're going 1,200. Okay, I'm getting $700 a month.
Yeah,
Then, 1,200 minus 40%, $700 to support that. And my payment on the 50 is $238.
38.
Now, you don't have to get there with it. It's a hold with mortgage, but if you wanted to get there, your next thing is $1,200 less 40%. That's my max I can pay, less what he's already got on that first mortgage. So his equity is right there.
Right.
It's right there. I've got to negotiate that, and if it's 700 of my thing, and I've got 238. I mean, I've got what I've got to play with there, like $450 or something like that. So I can pay him $450 max if I don't want any cash flow for his equity, and whatever, divide it out if you want to. But yeah, hold with mortgage.
Okay, Andy. So you're interested in selling your place there, huh?
Absolutely, I am.
Is that do you live there, or is this a rental, or
Yes, I live here.
how long you lived there for?
I've lived here for quite a while now. It's been 15, 20 years now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Did you buy it 15, 20 years ago, or have you had it for longer than that?
Yes, I did.
Bought it about 15, 20 years ago.
Yep,
Well, that's great. So you live here with the whole family.
the whole family.
Oh, sweet. So why are you looking to sell?
Yeah, I just figured get out of it. I don't know. I don't really need it anymore. Prices are a little higher now, but
Okay, so are you looking to move somewhere else? Or are you looking to move local here, or?
yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'll do when I get. I don't quite have plans yet, but
Okay.
definitely want to get out of here.
You just want to kind of sell the house and then go from there?
Yep, kind of go from there.
Get it under contract? Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you looking to get out of the house? I mean, is it for the money that you want? Because you said the prices are higher now. Are you looking to make some money off the house, or?
Not necessarily. I mean, I know the house needs work. I'm not
Okay.
necessarily, I'll leave some skin in the bone for the next guy,
Okay. So you said the house needs some work. How much do you think, more or less? I mean, some repairs? Is there some broken things, or
No, it's just dated.
just old?
People want
Okay.
new granite and all stuff. It's not that.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. People do. I mean, I'm out there talking to people every day, and they want their granite, especially the ladies.
Ladies like their granite. Yes, they do.
That's right. So do you own it free and clear? Is there a mortgage on it?
I want it free and clear.
Oh, that's fantastic. So tell me, since you own this free and clear, what price are you looking to get out of this?
I'd like 350.
Okay. And did you get that number from, where did you get your number from?
Well, a house in this neighborhood go for like 450. But mine's dated, so I'm like 350 seems fair.
350. Is your house kind of the same size, or is it?
You guys, I should stick my guns a little higher, but I kind of like 350.
Okay. You got it like 350? Good. Hey, well, you know what? You are a full no mortgage flip. I'd say no mortgage flip.
Yep, no mortgage flip because it's not a hold because it's high price range. You could
Yeah.
hold it, high price range. I own it free and clear. I have no plans for the money.
Yeah. So I'd say no mortgage flip for sure.
Yep, I think so.
Why are you selling your house?
I bought it a long time ago. I just
How long you been
don't
there?
deal anymore. Been a rental property, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So when did you buy it?
it's been about 20 years now.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah.
So is it rented right now, or is it?
No, the
people?
tenants just moved out.
They just moved out.
They did a little bit of a number on it, but not too bad.
Really? Is it a single family home or?
Yep.
Okay. And you said they did some damage to it?
A little bit, yeah.
How bad?
I don't know. I'd probably put 10 or 15 into it. you know.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And do you have a mortgage on it?
Nope.
No, you own it? Okay. So what were you thinking as far as what were you looking to get out of it?
Well, you know as well as I do, this house is worth, it's pretty good money.
I'm like, if you were gonna list it, if I don't know.
My
if
neighbor
you-
listed for $100,000.
Your neighbor listed for $100,000. How's your neighbor's house?
Looks good. I mean, it's fixed up.
Yeah.
$100,000 though.
Wow, that's a good price. So what were your renters paying in rent?
$1,200.
$1,200 a month. Okay. Now what were you actually getting? What's that?
I don't know, probably $700, $800 after it's all washed out.
Really? Okay. And what are your plans with the money? What are you gonna do once you?
I have no idea, but I mean, it's $100,000. I know that much.
I mean, are you gonna take a vacation? You gonna?
No, I mean, I
you
don't
gonna
really need to do
invest
anything
it?
with it.
No?
I don't know. I know much about those investments, but it's $100,000.
Okay.
I mean, he's selling for $100,000. See that real estate sign there? That real estate man's getting $100,000. I ain't give me $100,000.
That's so I hold long-term hold seller finance.
Yep. You gotta give him his price, right?
Yeah.
$100,000. You didn't ask me as how much I paid for it. I paid $20,000 for it. So I had a basis
So
you
why-
can sell the sale.
Okay, that's why. Because I was going to
Installment
ask,
sale.
so why would we know that that was a hold as compared to a flip, and it was because of the basis?
Well, yeah, the kind of the basis there. I mean, it's a cheaper price point, but I paid 20 for it a long time ago.
Huge.
$100,000. What's it worth? $100,000. It was on 15,000 repairs, so it's like I'm unrealistic seller, right? I want more than it's worth.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
but I want my $100,000. I don't have plans of money, but I want the $100,000. Well, what if I can get you the 100, right? Yeah, just give me the 100, and the rest of it doesn't.
Okay.
And the tax that you could have brought the installment sale with it too. But yeah, situation with 3.
So tell me, you're wanting to sell your house.
Yep.
What's the value of your house right now?
$500,000.
$500,000? Congratulations.
I know it, right? I never thought I'd get there.
Oh.
$500,000.
Well, I'm sure you paid the price to get here.
Oh yeah, I paid the price.
I believe it. That's awesome. Congratulations. So tell me then, what did you pay for this house?
Well, I mean, I've lived here for a couple of years, but it needs some repairs. But I paid $250
Good.
at the time.
$250,000 you paid at the time. Tell me a little more about the repairs. How much is it going to cost for someone to bring this house up to full market value?
$80,000.
$80,000.
I mean, we're dated.
Okay.
Yeah, the guys for $500,000. They're nice.
Okay.
They're not as nice.
Okay. So yours isn't quite as nice, but $80,000 probably do it.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Okay. And so if we can, well, actually we don't even want to go into that, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a high-end flip. So I don't know about your note yet.
Yeah.
What do you owe currently on the property?
About $280,000.
$280,000. Okay. And well, that answers the question then, right? So this will be
Yeah, it could be
a flip.
potentially.
This would be.
Sell a carry
Next
back.
question is how much it'll be interest rate. So I might have 12%.
Oh, yeah,
interest.
if
I mean,
you've got
it's
crap
right.
interest.
Oh, okay.
So $280,000.
Okay, so what do you owe? So tell me about your interest rate and what's your monthly
Well, I
payment?
pay $1,680 or so a month.
$1,680 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And your interest rate is
6%, I think I got.
6% interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which direction are you taking it?
Subject to flip.
I mean, you're gonna flip it because it's a high price range.
Right, high
And
price.
he's got a mortgage, so you're like, okay, keep that mortgage in place at 6%. Start talking him into that. Because he didn't ask me what I wanted for it and all that stuff. It doesn't
Sure.
matter. You're gonna try to get me that direction. The questions then is like, well, how much do you want for it? Whatever. Well, how much are you gonna get? So you owe 280 and you wanted 320. So how much do you actually get? You get 40 there. Oh, okay. So you're gonna get 40 if we did that. What if we had a situation where I could get you the money that you wanted? I'll negotiate that amount too, but get you the money you wanted, and then we mind if the bank waited for their money a little bit. I would probably take that. But yeah,
Good question.
You identified her.
So I should have got the price down significantly. 500 once it's fixed up. You were willing to sell for 320.
I was going to sell for 300 actually.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I got to dig there.
A good way to jump into it is, well, you want to know, you're just thinking today like, fix or
Easy to
hold.
fix, yeah.
Fix or hold,
420.
mortgage or not mortgage, and then you kind of go.
Okay.
I mean, you can get to it pretty quick.
So you got a house for sale.
It is definitely.
What do you think it's worth?
The value's right here, 250,000.
250.
Yeah.
Where are you getting your value from?
No, I mean, all these popping listings all over the place. You want this guy's 245,
Oh, really?
he's 255, and they're
The market's pretty hot.
yeah, it's hot.
Oh, good.
250 is
Good.
where they're at.
So how long you lived here?
This year, a few years.
Just for a few years. So I assume you took out a mortgage or did you pay cash?
Well, I mean, I had a mortgage at the time, but I own it now.
Oh, you own it now. Oh, that's great. That's perfect. What are you looking to get out of it?
I have to get at least 185.
185. So this is hold no mortgage.
Yep.
I'd say hold no mortgage, yeah.
Yeah, or you can flip it with a mortgage.
I'll flip it with no
You
mortgage.
didn't ask me what I'm gonna do with the money, but
I
that's the
didn't
next
need to.
question.
I got it.
But you know which direction you're taking.
Yeah.
Well, that's one we haven't asked for a minute. All of us have been freaking asked, what are you going to do with the money?
With the money, right?
Yeah, because that kind of determines it too, huh? Tell me about your house for sale.
You know, it's worth 130 grand, probably. That's what it is around here.
Are you living in it or rented out?
Yep, living in it.
How long you been there?
Just a couple of years.
Oh, okay, just a couple of years. So you probably have a mortgage on it then, or did you buy it with cash?
Yeah, I got a mortgage still.
Okay, sweet. Tell me more or less so I can kind of give you a ballpark of how much we could pay for
I got
it.
about 10,000 in equity because it's they're worth 130 and I owe 120, so I got about 10 grand.
You owe about 120 on
Yeah,
it.
120
Okay. So this would be a.
potentially. What
Oh
else?
yeah. I want to know what you're gonna do with the money. So tell me about what you're gonna do with the money.
Well, the $10,000 you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Buy some school books or something, whatever. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit of money.
So I would say hold with mortgage, right? So this is number 4.
It could be hold with mortgage, yeah. And the question should have asked, what's the interest rate? What are the payments? And what are rents?
Shoot, the
So I
interest
knew
rate
what the
payments,
rents were.
sure.
I would have told you it's a 4-bed, 2-bath, rents for $1,150, and the payments are $578. There's not much equity there, but if I can get you the 10, right? Just hold with mortgage, yeah.
So what's the story with your house?
The duplex?
Yeah, your duplex.
Yeah, it's a duplex.
Do you how long have you owned it?
Long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
When did you buy it?
God, it's been 30 years now.
3 years. Do you have a mortgage on it?
Yeah, I borrowed some money on it recently.
Okay, so is it just an equity line or
No, I just got a 30-year mortgage.
30-year mortgage? Okay. What's so what are you looking to sell it for?
Well, it's worth 200 grand.
And what do you owe on your mortgage?
90.
90. Okay. So and what's your mortgage payment?
My payment's 485 or something.
485. And what's the interest rate?
5%. One of those cheap, free money these days.
Yeah. What do you have it currently rented for?
It's 950.
950 each side.
Mhm.
Okay. That is like hybrid. Like,
Yep.
So
Yep.
pay the mortgage and then pay as equity.
Yeah.
Is that decision? Is that a 4, or is that 5?
5, right?
What's that?
The hybrids was 5.
Yeah, kind of a hybrid.
Kind of a-
I can take over his mortgage and not pay that off and pay the difference.
Is that a wrap then? Is that the wrap?
You could, yeah, you can wrap the first one.
That's
Yeah,
why
you
when
can
I
wrap it
thought
all.
you were.
You can have floating house.
Did you guys do the fifth exercise of trying to figure out which direction you're taking them?
Yeah.
Did you guys all do that? So how did that go? Figuring out the direction now. Did you guys get that? Was it fast to get the direction we were trying to talk them into?
Well,
Relatively?
That it was different for everybody depending on what your strategy what somebody might do as a buy and hold flip or something also would have worked as a buy and hold rental potentially.
Yeah.
Depending how you negotiated it, right? The number could be huge, but if you could negotiate the down payment, because none of that was really plugged in to those little scripts. So just, I felt like it depended on my experience and how I led the conversation.
Yeah. So really, the answer could have been multiple things.
Yeah,
Be
which is
multiple
what
things.
I need to
But it
learn,
depends on
I
what you
guess.
want. You could say, "I'll take them this direction," and you
Yeah.
could be right, right?
Well, or I could be wrong. That's what I need to learn, because I need to not take it the way I am familiar with, but take it more the way they.
Or the way they want. But if it works for a couple of different ways, then you could just, if it works for both situations, this one and this one, you could talk to them and see which direction they want it to happen, and you can make that happen, right?
So, yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
So like on this one, they already had the report then before I even got there. And they already had an offer. Let's just say, how would you deal with this? So.
Which one?
like
Are you talking about the real world one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we're showing we need to be 120 or under, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's 187 is the, oh, I have an offer for 187, I don't even think I want to take that. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, she already has offer for 187 and I'm over here. So would you have brought up, I can pay more than 187.
I would
Would
have
you
asked
still
her
gone
about, I would
there?
have,
Because she said she had a report.
tell me about your
there.
offer for 187.
Okay.
I would have gone there because you'd have found out the offer for 187 was not 187 cash. I said, well, tell me about that. And I had a situation before, and Matt was actually in the room with me. The guy, we were offering the guy a cash hammer like 120 grand or something like that. Because I mean, similar numbers actually. 120. The thing was worth like 160. And we're like, for some reason we needed to be down there, the low ones, right? And he's like, well, I've already got an offer for 170. And I was like, what? Well, tell me about that, right? You remember this, Matt? Tell me about that offer. He's like, well, I got a guy who's going to give me this, and he's going to pay me, $1,000 a month for this and that. And I recognized instantly it was 0% interest. I'm like, I said, I'll give you 190. And he was like, what? So that's why I paid 190 for a house that was worth 160, but it's 0% interest, right? And the guy, it was actually a friend of mine that had that offer in for the other one. We talked about Lake Powell like a few years ago. He's like, you have that house? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I offer him 170 with no interest, no money down. And I was like, well.
And I said,
But no cash.
I'm with Andy.
But actually, Matt and I got that. We were both in the
Good
same.
friend.
We were in the same room. But remember how quick the guy was like, what? Right? It just totally shocked him, right? Because people don't think like that. I mean, I was like, of course I'll do that for no interest, I'll do that.
She
He's like, I'm gonna skin these kids.
Yeah.
She rescheduled.
He probably did, but.
She rescheduled. The thing with that is I never met her in person. She had the report with him already first.
Yeah.
And never met. And then she like rescheduled her appointment and then went dark and couldn't get a time to even meet
Yeah.
with the person. So therefore I could never even try to go there.
Yeah, when this happens in the
Because
real
they
world,
already liked the first person.
there's more complexity for sure when it happens in the real world. But if you don't understand that these things exist, if you just got the cash hammer out, you got to understand that things exist. Because if you just said, before this, you'd have probably said, how is he going to pay 187? Well, you ask her how, and it wasn't all cash. It was terms, right? What are the terms? How's he doing that? And then you can maybe go one upper with terms, depending on which situation you want to take them to. Yeah, you can take it with terms. So if they're willing to do terms, then yeah, I mean, listen to that, right? Definitely listen to that. So you guys recognize that? If you guys can go in these situations and recognize very quickly what direction you want to take them and ask them some pointed questions to see if that's actually going to work for you, then you can start knowing what you want to negotiate. But hopefully now you get that. You get that you want to take them a different direction, okay? This packet that I gave you guys earlier, it's just got some random stuff in it. The third page of it, I made this kind of seller finance quick reference chart, little cheat sheet, right? Number 1, flip no mortgage. 2, flip mortgage. 3, long-term seller finance. 4, subject to. I put some X's next to it. Do they have equity? Is it free and clear? Good low mortgage payment? If they've got an X there, you can quickly look up there and be like, oh, this is the direction I'm taking them, right? The key is just, you're not going to have this in front of you there, but just recognizing to ask them questions. You want to know about their equity? What's it worth? What do you owe? There's your equity, right? Do you own it free and clear? Simple enough. But if you know these things, oh, I've got a mortgage. Great. Jump straight to the payment. What's your interest rate? What's your payment on that, right? What's it going to rent for? Crunching those ratios. So as long as you know that stuff, and even if they've got a bad, high mortgage payment, can you still do something with it? Yeah, you could flip the mortgage. Like you could do a flip with it. If they've got equity, you can still take that short term. It's not going to cash flow, but you can take it over short term for 6 months before you flip the property, like I did with Sue. So there's still a place for a bad mortgage because it's still better than borrowing hard money sometimes, right? So that's a quick reference chart you got there. The front of this, I put this letter of intent to purchase. You guys ever heard of an ABC offer? People that do seller financing sometimes will say, well, just give them the ABC offer. Well, you can do that, but if you just go in there blanket with an ABC offer, you're totally disregarding all these questions, and you might be giving them something that just doesn't make any sense for them. If you're giving an all-cash offer and they owe something on it, they're just going to disregard you. But if you ask a few questions first, you could come back with an ABC option. A being all cash. I'll buy a $100,000 house. I'll pay you $50,000 cash. I'll give you $75,000 if I give you $5,000 down and $70,000 over this term, or I'll give you $100,000 for the house, but it's just going to be divided over this many equal payments or whatever, right? So you can see how they can pick. Do you want 50? Do you want 75? Do you want 100? And I don't care any which way they go, because all those options work for me. So that's a trick. If you know which one of these options you want to take them down, give them all three options that work for you and say which one looks best to you, right? If you have to give them something like in writing this way. And I've used this before. I've rarely done these. The only reason I'll do an ABC offer is if it's kind of a competitive bidding situation and they're looking for those offers. Well, just send me an offer. Just send me an offer. Now, if I'm there with them toe to toe, I'm going to flesh out of them what they want, and I'm going to craft just the solution that they need. Because this is what you need. I don't need to show them a cash hammer if I know that they need this, right? But if it's a situation where, like, you just get us an offer. Just give me the offer. Just give me the offer. I'll ask them some pointed questions, and I'll come back and I'll know you can have the cash one, you can have this one, you can have that one. A lot of times it'll intrigue them. They'll be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. And the other guys that are competing against you, they don't necessarily know. They're thinking cash, right? Just give them an A, B, C offer. A lot of times you can win there. At least it starts a conversation. Letter of intent. Circle the one that like makes the most sense to you, right? They'll come back and, well, I kind of like this option, right? The second page, why would anyone carry a note? This is just another summary of what we went over here. If they sell on an installment sale, why it's better for them. Why it's better for them to sell on an installment sale. And it is. Don't assume that they might be like you. If you want the money to go do something with. Older people typically that have properties that have equity want fixed income. They want security, right? They're going to tell you no because they're going to pretend like they want the money in the bank. But when you really ask them, they get the cash on the bank, that big pile of cash, what are they going to do with it? After they pay taxes, remind them of that. What are they going to do with that? Put it in the bank for security. Well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I got to draw it out because I got to live. It's my retirement. If you ask them those questions, you can make sure they get secured, and you show it to them like this way, that's what they're doing anyway. That's what they want. They just want that income, right? So review that. Why would anybody want to carry a note? That's good. And then the last one I put there is good clauses to keep in mind. I know there's like a million things your minds are swirling, all these million different first right of refusal and note split provision and substitution of collateral. Don't worry about all that stuff now, but those are little things that are benefits to the seller. Know how they're a benefit for you. Study these things and recognize why it's a benefit for you. But you don't talk about that with them. You talk in terms of what it's going to do for them. Substitution of collateral, people blow their mind. They're like, why would anyone give you that? The benefit to them is, you don't want that tax thing. I don't want you to dump these taxes on you in an inopportune time, Mr. Seller. So what if we could figure out a way that we didn't have to do that?